Many people talk shit about movies for a living, all the while never having the balls to try filming one themselves. This episode will be not so much a movie review, but the tale of two horror fans that stopped being polite and started getting real. I'm your host, fucking Dave, and this is Everybody Dies. Everybody Dies! Before we get to the movie review, first some background on the directors. The Body Count Continues is a horror movie forum that has been around since before talking pictures and the automobile. Joseph Henson created and ran the board, and Nathan Johnson was an admin and a member. Johnson, member, hilarious. The Hysteria Lives is a review site dedicated to slasher movies and gialli, and should be your go-to source for said subgenre information. Old man Justin runs the site. Justin, Joseph, Nathan, and a diva named Inga then together formed The Hysteria Continues, a podcast which has become a phenom in the horror podcast realm, and they have recorded countless commentaries for slasher Blu-ray releases for Arrow, Vinegar Syndrome, 88 Films, you name it. But blabbing on for hours off screen with audio only is one thing. Could these two fucks make a movie? Well, in 2013, they tried. Originally titled Happy Easter, the film was changed to the night before Easter for budget reasons. Yes, Easter. You'd think it was a rarely used holiday for horror, but not at all, just in the mainstream. In the indie horror realm, there are countless Easter-themed horror movies, and they're all terrible. All of them. The Night Before Easter did get a novelization and its own kids' cartoon, so how bad can it really be? Let's check out the IMDb trivia section and see if there's anything interesting in there. I don't have the time to tell you everything that is wrong with this fucking entry. To fund the movie, the directors quickly realized that Kickstarter was a waste of time, so they went with Indiegogo. They managed to raise a little over $5,000, which was only half of their $10,000 goal, with 127 backers. The film was self-released on DVD around Easter the following year. Keep in mind the Pickaxe campaign started a month before, and they made over $1,000 more, only asking for $5,000 to begin with, and it took them 7 years to get released, and the movie is still unfinished. And the producer is a cunt. Allegedly. But enough background, let's get to the feature presentation. The Night Before Easter. What the hell does TBC stand for? That logo is complete dog shit and would make a terrible tattoo. We open this disaster film in the woods where everything is way too fucking bright, unlike the host of this show. Two men in simple yet smart designer white t-shirts and blue jeans complement one another. This would be a joke, but there really are 1,000 clothing companies where something that looks like it came off the rack at a thrift store costs a fortune just because that store happens to sell it. This is why I'm just naked 24/7. Mark here is played by the very famous Fabio lookalike and co-director of this movie, Nathan Johnson. Johnson? That sure is a mouthful. Brad thinks he's being haunted by wallabies or some shit, and Mark springs into action to calm down his fashionable male friend.
Brad, calm down. Get a hold of yourself. There's nothing out here.
Then this happens. While Joseph Henson, the other director of this rabbit shit, is killing our two characters, footage of a man taking a shit cuts in. This happens a few times until we realize that this couple are watching an old VHS tape that someone must have recorded over. Why the directors inserted this scene beats me, but so did my uncle.
Jesus Christ!
Well, it is Easter. The man does say he must have sat on the remote and that's what caused it, but my argument isn't going anywhere. Just like my scars. Fast forward, and the couple are now watching the news where a news reporter tells us that Alex Sykes, who killed his wife a year ago, has escaped and is at large. That announcer makes me want a chunky Kit Kat. And some anal paprika. And this actress's acting is okay enough for an indie movie, but this guy is as wooden as the four-legged stool I sat on upside down by accident. To be fair though, he was a friend of Nathan's who filled in last minute after a douchebag dropped out the first night. So he's not an actor and he was doing them a favor, so we can give him a pass. Back to the movie, and they are talking about the opening scene of Tim Ritter's 1986 slasher Truth or Dare: A Critical Madness. Oh, sorry, I mean elaborating on Alex Sykes and how he was the mall Easter Bunny and came home and found his wife cheating, and then he left and came back the next night and killed her.
It's the night before Easter.
She said the thing. This story just makes this guy even hornier, so he goes upstairs and gets ready. In the Dutch oven mirror, we see nothing out of the ordinary and move on. Time passes anytime the outside of this house is shown, so when we cut back inside, the woman finds the guy with cranberry sauce all over his crotch. I guess he couldn't wait for her and just fucked a fruit jar instead. She backs up slowly and makes this noise, triggering the opening credits. So we don't get an on-screen kill scene or a scene of her fucking a fruit jar. Fortunately, we do get the start of this amazing soundtrack by Scott Henson, the much more talented brother of co-director Joseph. The opening credits consist of footage of the storage facility where the rest of our movie will take place and some more story elements. We see that stuntman Joe Foley plays Alex Sykes and our killer bunny. And yes, that is Leslie Donaldson, Scream Queen, most known for Funeral Home, Happy Birthday to Me, and Curtains. She is also a producer on the movie. That gives the movie some extra credit as well. I don't know who this is, and I don't really care.
What the fuck?
Huh? This title reveal is badass. I don't care what anyone says. The rest of the credits are white text on black background and go on for a bit too long, great music or not. I mean, who gives a fuck about who the producers are? Probably a bunch of douchebags. 14 years later. A year wasn't established in the beginning, but looks like modern day to me, so apparently we're in the future now. Let's see some flying cars and graphic alien sex. We open in the storage facility, and the same news reporter from before is saying that Alex Sykes, after killing the two teenagers in the beginning, was caught shortly after. And now, after 14 years, he's escaped again. And we finally meet our main cast. Kyle sits minding his own business as Kelly plays the piano off-key. We establish that the setting belongs to Kyle's dad, and they are meeting some old friends before Kelly moves away. Then she calls out Kyle on his acting skills for no reason.
God, you are an emotionless fountain.
The rest of the gang show up, and Kyle lets them in. The movie spares us and hits fast forward through this part. Then this guy, dressed like a South Park character with a hat way too big for his head, tells the rest that he is opening a comic book store called The Fourth Wall. Well, we now know this wasn't the only thing that started in 2013 and ended in 2014 as a massive failure. But really though, I am honored, and I think it's pretty cool to have my store immortalized in a slasher movie. That's not something that a lot of people can say. So thank you, Joseph and Nathan, for that. I appreciate it. And immediately we run into another first-time filmmaker error. Everyone talks over one another. Now, a lot of the extra banter was ad-libbed by everyone, and it does make it more realistic because that's how everyone I know talks in groups, but it doesn't translate well to screen. Then Kyle pulls out what I'm pretty sure are root beer bottles. I mean, I guess when he says he has beer, he wasn't lying. The directors do us another favor as we skip through a long scene of everyone standing around drinking, having several conversations at once. Even cut up, this scene still goes on too long, and then they go sit down and it's more of the same thing. This scene does showcase who the better actors and or characters are. Immediately, Dante is my favorite. He has a natural charisma and humor that I like. And Nan comes off as just really likable. The rest, we'll see. We finally break up the nonsense and get to the plot. Everyone asks Kelly why they're here, besides to be killed by a giant rabbit later. Kelly then reminds us that it's Easter, though nothing Eastery has been felt this entire time, and the big news that she has is...
I'm moving to London.
So no Cadbury eggs?
At first, no one seems to really give a shit. Then Liz asks if there's a chance to be naughty teens in their late 20s one last time, and Kyle has to be a creep about it.
Did someone say naughty?
Fade to Kelly and Nan talking about British stuff, and thankfully Dante is fucking around and comes swooping in to remind us that he's the best thing about this movie.
It's on my to-do list.
You work on that accent. Excuse me. Don't mind me.
Oh, we won't.
Nan somehow rejects his wily charm, and we cut to Liz and Brooke, who has had 7 beers already, so her character is clearly an alcoholic. Liz also has a bad feeling about being in this movie, being here tonight. Meanwhile, Riley tells Kyle that he invited Melissa from Friday the 13th Part 7 The New Blood to the party. No, not the actress. You'll see. He knows Kelly is going to be mad, but the heart wants what the penis wants. Later, Nan is playing the piano correctly, and Dante just keeps on being Dante.
This feels killing me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, girl, you are killing me.
Later, the guys are talking about superheroes, and when this kind of dialogue is written by people who admittedly hate that genre, it's kind of hard to listen to, so we'll move on. Anyway, the janitor, last name Herring, first name Red, arrives and Kyle acts all shady about it, slipping her something from his father. The cock thickens. Anyway, Kyle shows off some great acting skills here.
Who was that?
Oh, what was that? She's the custodial engineer. She lives here. What?
God, you are an emotionless fountain.
20 minutes in, and it's time for something to actually happen.
Come on, guys, let's play a game.
What kind of game?
Anybody want to play Bloody Murder?
As the grown-ass adults run off to play hide-and-seek, because what else is there to do in a storage facility on Easter, the real best part of the movie arrives.
Where's everyone?
We're playing hide and seek.
Really? Oh.
Here's the thing. Yes, Melissa, you're not really supposed to like her, but she is the bitch character that you just can't help but love. Like in Friday the 13th Part 7, the Melissa character, she's just so bitchy and shitty towards everyone. That's so over the top and unbelievable, but you know she's going to get killed so fucking hard. So it's just all the leading up to that and her just deserving it, and that's what makes the bitch character great. The problem with that is that nowadays in movies, every character is so unlikable that it loses that dynamic, and it just fucking ruins the movie. So you have to have one designated bitch character, but you have to make them to where you love to hate them. Not, you just, it just fucking pisses you off and makes you want to turn the movie off. That's most modern horror movies today, unfortunately. Even more unfortunate is that it's pretty realistic, because people fucking suck. Now, I have many questions, but the major one I have is, why is this rich, spoiled bitch dating this comic book nerd? As a comic book nerd, I know this would never happen. Yes, he is opening a store, but as my wife found out, that does not lead to money, just suffering and shame. And Melissa's yes-man friend, apprentice, side character is about the most pointless thing in the movie. As everyone finds hiding spots, Melissa has found her man.
The Green Lantern himself couldn't stop me.
Yeah, the Green Lantern kind of sucks, just so you know.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
In true nerd fashion, instead of staying with his hot girlfriend that's too good for him and giving her another pearl necklace, he wants to go find the guys. Bros before sex, man. That's okay, because Melissa runs into Kelly again and the cat fight continues.
You threw this to get closer to Riley. Admit that you're using your friends because you're too scared to walk up to Riley and tell him how you really feel.
What do you get out of this?
Excuse me?
Being a bitch, I mean.
Go ahead. He won't believe you anyhow. Not after last night. Truth hurts, doesn't it, sweetie?
Meanwhile, Riley and the ladies talk more about comics, and I continue to die inside for multiple reasons.
Then someone locks the door.
30 minutes in, things better pick up. This movie's only 65 minutes long.
Damn it to hell and...
Well, speak of the bunny. The kill scene from Just Before Dawn ends with an off-screen death and an aftermath blood puddle. And I've been bitching I wanted the kills to start in this movie, but at this point, with all the character development, I actually like the characters and I don't want them to die. That's the thing that works about The Night Before Easter. Is, yeah, it seems like a lot of nothing going on, but by the time the people start dying, you actually care. At least I did. And that goddamn thing is from Nathan Johnson's old home movies, the Old Federal Massacre series, and others. It reminds me of the Cursed Idol from Happy Tree Friends. The ladies proceed to review the movie they're in.
This is boring.
Later, Dante finds the guys hanging around. I know the movie is boring so far, but damn. The guys are just kidding, and they continue having more dialogue in a movie that does not have enough dialogue already. Kyle has the keys to the place, so I'm just going to call it now. He's the killer. These flashes in the kill scenes are really ruining them, though the kill scenes aren't that great to begin with, honestly. I do like this blood smear effect they do right here, though.
Someone lock the emergency exits.
Back to these two sitting around again. Every scene is Brooke being a drunk and Liz babysitting her. She's an adult, let her make her own bad decisions. If there is a final girl, I'm going to say it's Liz, just because her acting is possibly the strongest in the movie, and she's acting like a godmother to all the other characters. I just wish she did more in the movie. Kelly could be a contender, but she's been too shady and whiny the entire time. Also, she's dead. These kill scenes, despite being too few and far in between, and all being in the second half, are just too abrupt. We need stalking scenes, chase scenes, etc. Besides some red herring moments with baits here and there isn't much horror stuff in this movie after the opening scene. And yeah, the bunny costume is alright, not huge and cartoony, it really works, we need to see more of it, and it's a shame that they couldn't get it bloody because they didn't shoot in sequence, so the blood splatters would have just caused all kind of continuity errors, and that's a real damn shame because a blood-soaked bunny costume would look pretty badass. And I know there wasn't money or experience for great effects for the kills, and so a lot of the kills are off-screen and the makeup is not that great, but I know everything that they learned from this movie, the next movie they make, they're going to learn from all their mistakes, and you know it's just going to be a million times better than this, so I can't wait to see what they do next. Or not, it'll be shit, whatever, fuck them.
No, not one violent bone in my body.
Riley's the killer. Great, more of this. Now this is the best and worst scene in the whole movie. It's literally just the two women sitting there talking, and it's about a story that happened to her in the past, and it is purely character development. You could take it out of the movie and it wouldn't affect it at all. It's just that it is the best acting in the movie in one scene. It's really well written, and unfortunately that was the one scene in the movie that the audio got really fucked up because of the echoes in the storage facility. So it is a damn shame. They saved it, fixed it the best that they can, but it's still very noticeable when you're watching the movie how it just suddenly kind of craps out. And it's a damn shame that it happened right during the best part too. That's just beginner's luck, I guess. Now back to the Melissa show.
If you go, you're on your own. I made you. If it hadn't been for me, you'd be that scared little girl without a single friend. You were a joke in school and you're a joke now. Do you hear me? You're nothing then and you're nothing now! Nothing!
Gosh, she's amazing. And now that the character whose only development is Melissa's friend is no longer Melissa's friend, and there's the cover of the soundtrack. For once in a modern slasher movie, we don't have the trope of cell phones not working, mostly because everybody dies before they can call for help. Melissa is now having a nuclear meltdown and takes it out on the guys, breaking up with Riley in the process.
Talk to me. What's wrong? Just tell me. We can work this out.
I should go.
Would you shut the fuck up, Dante?
She called me Dante.
It's Dante.
Like it fucking matters.
What is wrong with you all of a sudden?
Never mind what I said earlier. This is the best scene in the movie.
Why are you even here?
Why not?
And my name's Dante!
Well, I guess Melissa can die now, but I really don't want her to.
Hello? I'd really like to go!
This. We need more of this. I understand time, money, etc., but man, 2 or 3 more of these chase scenes, and this would be so much better. Joe Foley really didn't hold back with the stunts. He's definitely one of those 100% no matter the job kind of guys. While Melissa hides, escaping the evil Wabbit for now, Bates, who has done nothing the whole movie, is about to die after stealing the rest of the root beer. We cut to Riley, not fooling anyone. We all know he's actually Joe Foley in disguise. And then we watch the ladies in the restroom like a bunch of pervs. Eventually they find something terrifying. The beer is gone. I mean Bates is dead. Oh no. What a tragedy. So sad. Well, there's less than 10 minutes left. Time to wrap this movie up. Brooke the drunk dies, Liz is the final girl, and then... Oh. Well, that was something I wasn't expecting. Melissa comes out of hiding before the killer forgets about her and the movie ends. Then this goddamn tragedy.
Okay.
The last few minutes are all hide and chase with the killer and Brooke, our surprising final girl. I did not see that coming, and in a subgenre that seldom deviates from the same old tired formula, this was really appreciated. And the end is definitely the strongest with all the action we've been waiting for. Eventually, Brooke gets the drop on the killer and he is unmasked. Oh, wow, Riley is the killer. What a surprise, I didn't see that coming. In true My Bloody Valentine fashion, we get a quick flashback to explain the killer's motive. Brooke can't see the flashback, so fuck her, I guess. So Riley was the girl in the opening's little brother. Alex Sykes killed them and gave him an Easter egg. Apparently it fucked him up, but it took 14 years and almost opening a comic book shop to do it. I can understand how that would drive you insane. Or maybe he was just allergic to eggs. This final fight here, I'm really conflicted on, because it sounds brutal as hell. Riley the killer takes her into the storage unit, they close the door, and all we hear is yelling, screaming, the banging against the door. It sounds brutal as shit, but we don't get to see anything, so it's kind of a cop-out. So, I really don't know how I feel about it. So Brooke kills Riley, and we cut immediately to the day after the night before Easter. In some countries known as Easter. So, was Riley still alive somehow? Was that Alex Sykes still at large? Or did Brooke go crazy too? Who knows? And fuck us, I guess. The end. Alright, did this movie have a decent budget? No. Decent effects? No. Decent acting? No. Decent camera work? No. But did it have heart from two lifelong horror fans who just wanted to make it a decent time waster made within their favorite subgenre just to show that they could, all the while overcoming obstacle after obstacle, never giving up, and finally achieving a childhood dream most of us can only hope and dare to ever accomplish in our lives? Still no. Poop! Alright guys, stay tuned for part 2, where I'm going to sit down for a very rare treat for this show, as I have a Q&A with the directors themselves, Nathan Johnson and Joseph Henson. I just tore the movie apart, so this is gonna be awkward. I'll see you next time on Everybody Dies.